how we doing, folks? It's Sunday night and it's Audio Who once again for your listening delight, even though you'll probably not see this until next September. But nevertheless, we are gathered to sit and tackle another outing for Tom Baker, Fourth Doctor, accompanied by Leela and Louise Jameson, with story number 6 of season 7 of the Fourth Doctor Adventures from Big Finish Productions, entitled The Bad Penny, written by Dan Strax the Potato Starkey. Philip has something to say about that. We'll get to that shortly. And what we have here is an outing in the Cross Keys Hotel with 2 different time zones converging, a Hadeen and an almost Doctor Who Sapphire and Steel-esque outing. We're about to find out what you think of this tale, but before we get to that, let's see who showed up this evening. Joining us from NYC is Mr. Will Medina. How's it going, Will?
Hey, now, how you doing, everybody?
Good to see you, mate. Joining us from down under, he has the thunder at 8 a.m. How's it going, AJ?
I am alive.
Yeah, well, that's good to know, mate. Joining us from Tottenham and his winter woolies, it's Philip. How we doing, Phil?
Morning or evening.
It's evening where we are, Phil. Evening, mate. And all the way from Texas, he has a beard that must be feared, never revered. Bootsy, hide your mittens. It's Texas Tim Wells. How's it going, Timbo?
Hello.
How you doing, mate? Good to see you. And of course, you all know me. If anybody else pops in, well. So, guys, the Bad Penny. The Doctor and Leela receive a distress call. The TARDIS ends up in the vicinity of the Cross Keys Hotel. You have the governor of the place in the guise of Mr. Tulip. You have the mysterious occupant of the residential suite on the upper levels. You have the Hadeen, which are a tentacle-esque creature in the foreground. You have burning staircases. You have different versions of various characters, and you have the night porter with his lucky penny. What do we think about this tale? Well, let's find out. Opening thoughts on the Bad Penny, Tom Baker and Louise Jameson. AJ, what do you reckon, mate?
I didn't find this to be a bad story. It was quite a very Doctor Who story. It was, wackiness, time travel, paradoxes, and all that was really good. I even felt a little bit of Fawlty Towers in there with Mr. Tulip. Yep. So it was brilliant.
Excellent. Okay. Hands up for the Tulip. Okay, Philip. You said you're having some issues. Do tell.
Right. I know why they call this a bad penny now, because it's the worst story I've ever heard.
Did you not say that about Thousand Tiny Wings? A few others, you know.
There was too much going on. It's too clunky. I couldn't make any sense of it. I listened to it 3 times before we come on here. 3 times.
Philip, there was 2003 and then there was present day. You know, 2 time zones.
But it just didn't come across clear enough for me. It was just too much going on. It was clunky, and Dan Starkey sticks to acting and not writing, because you can't
Should they just include a special education version for dumb people then? It's not that hard to follow. Come on.
Rude. I didn't like it. Simple as that. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It's not my kind of story. It was too much. It was a mess.
Not even Tom Baker could save this for you, Phil. Oh dear.
No.
No.
And not even Leela, as that bloke called her, was it some sort of hippie person? Not even Leela being a hippie could save it. There you go.
No, that was a reference to Dimensions in Time, but we don't discuss that. Well, what do you reckon, mate? Save us.
Well, I'm gonna agree with both AJ and Phil. It's not a bad story, but it also got a little bit confusing at some time, especially when certain the timey-wimey effects started happening a lot of times, so you forgot who this one originally was, and you had to go back to listen to it. So I was like, oh yeah, especially the one who was Deborah, when she came back as the military, like, oh, it's Deborah again, but now she's from a different time.
Yeah, she's not the hotel inspector, she's the military general. Yeah.
And that it played by the same person, but I was a little bit confused, like, if she's from the future time, how come she didn't remember meeting Leela like that? And I was like, what was that? But and then Tom Baker trying to explain it, didn't really explain how the bad penny. I mean, at the end, he stopped the guy from picking up the bad penny, but in a way, I don't know if it's explained in the story or maybe it was just abbreviated where the bad penny first came from, because he picked it up in the past. So
he picked up in his own time zone, wasn't it? The night porter. He went to pick up at the end and it was gone.
Yeah, he tried to pick it up again, but Tom Baker took it.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, well, if he took it away and the wife it up, then it should not happen in the first place, because he took it before all the story. happened.
It's a paradox.
Yeah, paradox. Well, we should point out that everybody played two variations of themselves, except Mr. Tulip and Lord Tulip. You had two actors playing their roles. The hell was it again? You had you get the cast there, Will? This thing's frozen in mine.
Oh, the Lord Tulip was played by Keith Barron,
Yep.
and Ron Tulip was played by Greg Haste.
There you go. So yeah, so everybody was playing a double ganger of themselves apart from.
Well, they did that.
Tulip.
Well, they did that because in the dating moment, they had to have it so that they were two different characters, or so you thought up until that point. When they revealed that it was the same person.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they did. I was wondering about that myself until I was listening to extras, and they kind of said, that's pretty much why they did that.
Okay, excellent, man. Okay, well, maybe a tad confusing for some, wasn't it? It was all right for me. Of course, you had the whole hijinks with the staircase and the fire and the lobby and all the rest of it. But yeah, maybe one of these stories you have to listen to a few times. Maybe more than 3 times, Phil. Who knows? Sorry. What? Sorry, Tim. Sorry, say that.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, it does benefit from a second listen. I get where you're coming from with it being confusing slightly, but overall, it's a pretty funny story. I think it's very funny. It might be a little convoluted, but it's got a lot of funny bits to it. And if you listen to it a second time, you'll kind of pick up what you might have missed the first time around.
Okay, fair enough. Since you were monologuing there, Timbo, you might as well end it. You're up before us.
Those were my opening thoughts.
Oh, well, okay.
Actually, I was defending it from Philip, but I mean, he's entitled to his opinion, but I think if you force yourself to listen to something 3 times, you don't like it the first, you're probably going to like it even less. I mean, so that's probably why you're not getting it or digging it that much. So, I mean, I was teasing him last night because it has plenty of running up and downstairs in it, so that does make it a classic Doctor Who story.
Well, yeah, to be fair, I think the fire had something to do with that. But yeah, it was interesting how you had the various paradoxes whereby one thing changed, the fire disappeared, the door opened, and he did. And what was the night porter's name again? He didn't burn in the fire anymore. So
the night porter?
Yeah, the guy for the 18th century. Yeah.
Was it Edwin? That was the character?
Who?
Edwin.
Edwin, that's the one. Yeah. So
obviously he
saw himself in the mirror perish in the fire. The fire was averted. And obviously you find out it's the result of Lord Tulip's plan, along with this alien race called the Heathen, who are this scaly, tentacly, I don't know if they're meant to be octopuses or what, but there's tentacles involved. So as long as it's nothing to do with our friends from Japan, I think we're pretty safe. Sue, you've arrived late. Good to see you. Opening thoughts on The Bad Penny?
Thank you. Yes, it was really great. It was really timey-wimey, and there was a lot of little causal loops that closed. That was really fun for me. I like those kind of things where you're challenged to to follow along a causal loop. This thing leads to this, and in this case, the Haydens were interesting, and the Tulips, Lord Tulip, was a great antagonist. Yes.
Yeah, I'll go down the end. Okay, thank you,
So,
Judy.
thanks.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, it was enjoyable enough for me. I get where the guys are coming from. It does benefit for a second listen. It's weird. It's one of these stories where it's somewhat confusing, but at the same time, it's also a simple story. It's really weird. Leela gets her usual, defined character development as per usual with these audio. As these seasons unfold, she's grown even more and more for me. So that was interesting. But yeah, the tragic story of Edwin, who's been stuck in this time period for a while, in the guise of this night porter, even though he's for the 18th century, was a nice little reveal towards the end of part 1. I thought that was somewhat different. But overall, it's 55 minutes. It's Tom Baker. What the hell? Go to the laugh. He even talks to himself a lot in this thing, which is always funny. So
did AJ do his bit?
I'll get to him next, don't worry.
Okay.
I got confused because Sue popped in late. And now that I'm done, AJ, open the first, mate. My apologies.
I already done it.
Oh, for God's sake. Right.
Yeah, first one, dude.
That just shows how out of here I am. But
Yeah,
go on.
exactly. Yeah, lay after mushrooms, Phil. Okay, with that, guys. Any events or characters within this tale that stood out for you? I'll edit that part out. Philip, you've probably got to say nothing, so you might as well go first. Nobody? Nothing? Nada?
And I will, and you're certainly correct. Nothing. Thank you.
Fade to black. AJ, what about you?
How can I top that? No, Dan Starkey, his vocal work in this episode was really well done. I mean, you can tell it was Dan.
In this then. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, you can tell it was Dan Starkey, but it was well done, I thought.
Didn't he write it too?
Yes.
Don't trigger Philip now.
Also, I think they made Leela a little bit too intelligent in this. She gets offended by being asked if she was the Doctor's secretary. So,
She's probably she's probably been with him a while by this point. She gets some of the references and cultural.
Okay, I felt maybe she was a little bit too intelligent. You know what I mean?
Well, she didn't mind being called a hippie. So.
Oh yeah. Again, dimensions of time. We don't talk about that. Tim, hint for you.
Oh, I thought they were great. I thought the leads were really in top form. I think in this one, I think I like the writing. I think there were enough little funny one-liners that were thrown around to keep it entertaining.
Yeah.
And even if the story was kind of convoluted at sometimes, that kind of kept it moving along. And like you said, it's like 55 minutes, pretty quick if you think about it. So it didn't overstay its welcome. I thought it was pretty effective.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, hint for you, mate.
Well, of course, I like the way Leela's character built up here, especially when she defended from the hating like that. She cut one a little bit, and then she enjoyed it very well. Also, what's unusual, the character of Deborah, which was Major Harris, was very good in the story. But I wish they would explain more about how this one's career changed so quickly, because when we first see her, she's doing this thing. Of course, the other one was from a different world like that, but she was in the military. I mean, now it's not
different timelines, isn't it? Hotel inspector,
yeah,
military general. Yeah.
And of course, it's not implied if she's with unit like that. So, you know, that's not implied because Leela knew she wasn't even called about her first name, and you know she was shocked about. I wish they would have got more into that little bit like that. That's why it was one of the things that confused me like that. But also the villain of the older one, even though he tried to be controlling and all that, in a way, it's not really implied what his main goal is, because what is it, to keep the guy from going home like that and be powerful, but at the same time, you got this stupid little, the Haitians try to eat people up like that. So what's your job?
I think the main purpose was a certain chain of events had to unfold for him to become who he ended up being, and one of them encoded Edwin.
Mm-hmm.
So if Edwin went back to the past, there goes one of the vocal points of your time paradox. So once the Doctor sent him back to the past, they had to try something else, and obviously that's when the heathen, which I thought was really funny, could just put a little bitty baby one of themselves and go roaming about the hotel, and the big fella can't leave the room. What the hell? But yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Tim Septile. Sue, anyone for you?
Well, you guys have said most of what I was thinking of, and I really appreciate the work that Louise and Tom do, and these I was transported, and they are consummate, amazing actors. So so that and Dan Starkey, I'd agree with AJ completely. He did a great job writing it, and he did a great job acting it. And I love how he when he said that he was writing it, he had other people that he would ask, like, advice from, because he was trying to make this thing flow. And there was a lot of loops that needed to be finished. So as Will had said. So thanks.
Well, we better get the names of those people, because if Philip has his way, they'll be strung up in Trafalgar Square. But that notwithstanding, yeah, Tim's obviously nowhere here at present. Don't know what's got his attention. Hope everything's all right. Me, I'll, as I say, the Heathen were an interesting villain, albeit your typical Doctor Who monster that just devour people to, I'm assuming, claim their essence to keep on living. What can you do? That's just standard interdimensional alien sometimes. The Sapphire and Steel vibe was kind of noticeable. AJ alluded to, okay, it was set in the Cross Crease Hotel, so yeah, I remember Faulty Towers minus Sybil. No Manuel and no giant rat running around though. But what can you do, and with that, guys, they sign it to me. Open mic portion of the podcast. Anything else you want to bring up before we get this rated and then we can?
I'll like what season this story sort of take place at from the TV series?
Oh, pick a point, stick a hole in it. I don't know. Unless
we first meet Leela before she leaves. Right,
yeah. Well, certainly before that, yeah. But unless you put something on the Big Finish website on the behind the scenes, they sometimes splice in where it's supposed to take place. It's up to your imagination, I guess. Remember, she was only around for like 18 months on TV, so what, 6-7 stories? So go figure. Anyone else, guys?
For me, I think the cleverest line in the entire story was the Doctor going, "Come on, Lord Tulip, stop tiptoeing."
I tell you what, I did enjoy it. The wee segment within the story where Tom Baker was actively interacting with his interdimensional self. Hello, Doctor. Yes, Doctor. You're in a pickle now. And you're like, it's just so bombastic and so foaming Tom Baker. It's like, have you plugged the hole that time? Yes, I have. Yes. Yeah. You're like, okay. Quite good. Funny stuff when it comes to Tom Baker. Really is.
I gotta give props, but needs an improvement in the props for Dan Stockett writing the story, because we all know he's not really a writer at that, because he's been just acting and doing some audio.
Oh, it starts somewhere, yeah.
Well, start somewhere like that. But I gotta give a little nudge that Louise Jameson, who's just written the story a few bit. Her story was a little more cohesive like that than this one. I'm not saying this story sucks and like Phil, but I think maybe either an editor or something could have read it and maybe tighten it up more better the story wise.
Hey, well, I think somebody actually did. I think that's what was in the interviews, was that he had somebody who was like betaing it, reading it for him.
Get rid of that jerk, because the one who helped Louise Jameson did a better job, man.
Yeah. All righty. Tim, are you still away?
Boopsie must have killed him.
Yeah, maybe the cat did it. I guess. Somebody stole my Boopsie. Yeah. Oh, there he is. There we go.
Sorry, I had somebody at the front door.
Not a problem, mate. It was just the open mic. It was just the anything stand out for you. Then it's the open mic part we're on as present. So.
No, overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I don't know if Starkey's first time writer on this, but
yeah, I believe he is.
I think he did a pretty good job.
Okay. And as we're in
it had that season 15 feel, really. He had that pretty much nailed down.
Well, there's a shout. Season 15, all right for you? What was asking? What does this take place? I was unsure. Okay.
Well, K9's not used, but he's in it at the beginning. Remember?
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Got something.
That narrows it down if K9's in it. So yeah. All righty. Anything else, guys? No.
No.
Spray your cats.
Yeah, spray your cat. Okay, before Butch needs his boots on, it's that time again.
FYI, always remember that binge drinking is not a cure for an erectile dysfunction.
Yes, and I refuse to comment any further on that.
Bit hard for you? Or not so hard?
Giggity, yeah.
There's a song about that called Too Drunk to Fuck.
That's some country western singing. Yeah, anyway, anyway, The Bad Penny. The Fourth Doctor Adventures, Season 7, Story number 6, Tom Baker and Louise Jameson. Okay, Phil, how much less is this getting than 1,000 tiny zeros?
What? Oh, sorry, I was miles away. Go on.
How many bad pennies you give it?
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what? Do you know, even though a tiny thousand winds got 0, this gets at least 1.
Ooh. So it's not as bad as that. Okay. Well,
But it is bad, but I can't give it a demarcation or below that. So
What's your rating again for cryptobiosis?
We've never done that yet.
I know.
you don't want to do that one.
I think Tim might agree with him on that one. yeah. All right, cool. No problem, mate. AJ, what's the number from Down Under?
7.5, I think. It was a good story, but it was a little bit loosey-goosey here and there, but it was okay.
There's a bit of terminology I've not heard in a long time. Loosey-goosey. Yeah, there we go. Sue, what's the number from your neck of the woods, dearie?
All right, dearie, mine will be a 9. I liked it a lot. I really do like causal loops, and I do like how creative people are when you have a lot of timey-wimey loops, and the Doctor talking to himself. I agree. Okay, Graham, I agree. That was hilarious.
All righty. Timbo, what's the number down taking you on, mate?
I agree with you. I'm going to give it a 9. I thought it was really good. Really entertaining.
Okay. Thumbs up from those guys.
Sorry, Fuzzpot.
Oh. No. There are no wrong opinions here. It's completely inadequate ones. Well, what's it you?
I give it a 7 out of 10. It's not, like I said, it's not a bad story, but I'm not hateful like Phil is like that, but just...
That's a tad harsh.
Too bad. You know what? Too bad. I'm proud of my opinion. Oh, I give it. Now, I'm not saying this Dan started not to write no more. Just, I say whoever helped them, get them on, get somebody.
I just didn't enjoy it. That's all. I just didn't enjoy it.
That's fine. That's fine.
Maybe if you would have had a certain lady direct the story, it might have been improved.
Oh, your wife.
Well, David, no, we'll not go there. Right. For me, I'll agree with AJ. I'll give it a 7.5. I enjoyed it. It does benefit, as we've alluded to, it does benefit to more than one listen. But it's a decent outing for Tom Baker and Louise Jameson, who are well versed in that. What is this, their 5th season of this now? Something like that. So there you go. That's my view on that. 7.5 out of 10. And with that done, dusted, and if this pop-up would piss off, in the can for this evening. It just leaves us to divulge what we'll be tackling in 2 weeks' time, which will be our penultimate recording of 2019. Second last, that means, Phil, just so you know.
I know. Jesus Christ. God.
We will be tackling we're actually going backwards now instead of forwards. It's the turn of Fraser Hines in the guise of Pat Troughton and Peter Purvis in the guise of Bill Hartnell, with the very first multi-doctor story for the 60s Doctors. And Phil?
And it's a fantabulous story that I will enjoy talking about next week rather than the shit one we had. And it's called The Daughter of the Gods. Yeah.
Yes, Katarina is back. Yeah. We'll not be here next week, Phil, but if you want to turn up, that's fine. It's 2 weeks' time, but
Oh yeah, 2 weeks' time, sorry.
Yes, folks, we have a multi-Doctor story with the first 2 iterations of the Doctor, first time on Big Finish, and, well, ever really. Unless there's a couple of books I'm unaware of. So, yeah, we'll look forward to that. And, yes, you're going to run into Katarina again, even though you've barely seen her to begin with. Go figure. But we'll see how that one pans out. Please check out our buddies in the wacky, wonderful world of the YouTube. You've got the guys and dolls that each assembled with their audio, heads, TV, and movie reviews. You've got Dr. Freedom and his news broadcast, and his Amiga fellas, as well as the adventures of Dr. Freedom and Eric, as well as our buddies on their own line, Sammy Carter and Mike Shannon. Please give them a like. They're always fun fellas. Please, and with that, guys, it's Sunday. Philip wants to watch something on TV. I have no idea what it is, but it's probably boring. We're getting the hell on out of here.
The Crown, you bitch. Anyway.
The Crown. I've watched episode 1. Not bad. Okay, so yeah.
The porn
to yourself, folks. And yeah.
And don't forget to tell people about the Incredible Hulk podcast that you've joined with, right?
Well, that's nearly finished. Yeah, buddy Frank and ourselves here also indulging in Incredible Podcast. So, Kira, I wish if that's your bag. And with that, guys, we're getting the hell on out of here. Be excellent to yourself and each other, and fuckity bye.